This video is brought to you by the Wake Tech ILC and is closed captioned. Today, we'll be discussing how to create an enticing introduction that hooks your readers, tells them what you are writing about, and gives the thesis statement that gives the point of what you are writing. When you think about your introduction, you can imagine it as a funnel, like this. We'll be going into each little part of this funnel and explaining each individual thing. There are three parts to your introduction: the general information and hook, introducing the main concepts and ideas behind your thesis, and then finally your thesis statement. As you progress through your introduction, you should be getting more specific until you reach your thesis, which should be one very specific idea that captures your point and argument that you're trying to make. Firstly, you have to start with a hooking statement that hooks the reader into your paper. This can be done in a variety of ways, such as creating an intriguing example, asking a thought-provoking question, shaping a puzzling scenario, illustrating a vivid anecdote, or using a quote that relates to your work. In the same thought, you want to start it off broadly so that you can create a big picture. After this, you must start introducing the topic that you are discussing. Introduce the main concepts and ideas that your paper will be built on, but remember that you are still only introducing your topics, not specifically stating what your argument will be. For example, if you are writing a paper in which you are advocating the use of technology, like phones and tablets, in schools, you won't state your argument yet. Instead, talk about schools that have begun to utilize technology. Introduce why schools may or may not want that technology, and fill the details in from there. Finally, you get to your thesis, and this is where you let the reader know exactly what your stance is on the topic that you are writing about. Make it specific, make it direct, and most importantly, make sure it is making an argument that you must prove over the course of your paper. Before we end, here are a few hints about writing an effective introduction. First, avoid tired and bland introductions that create too big of a scope, such as saying, "since the dawn of man," or "since the beginning of time." Also, try to avoid using a definition as your introduction, as it's an introduction that has been done time and time again. Finally, you could try writing the introduction last, rather than writing it first. Many people struggle with how to open their paper, and get stuck looking at a blank screen. Instead, you can make your thesis statement and then write out your supporting paragraphs first, and then come to the introduction after you've figured out what exactly you want to say. It's like introducing someone to someone new. To introduce that person, you must know the things that make up that person. You can't just introduce a new person without talking about him for a little bit, or having any prior knowledge about the person before you've introduced the topic. Of course, all of these are only suggestions. Just remember that you need the three parts to an introduction: the general information and hook, introducing the main concepts and ideas behind your thesis, and then finally your thesis statement. Thanks for watching. Be sure to follow us on OrgSync and like us on Facebook. And make sure you rewind this video and pause on any of the examples. Reading them over and rewatching the video can help you to develop some of your introductions.